Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at SUI, see what's going on. SUI, or SUI, however you want to put it, is absolutely getting destroyed right now. It's probably one of the highest we have one of the largest pullbacks here compared to other altcoins here today. Granted, SUI overextended in general, that's kind of par for the course, but simple way to understand it here is that it's definitely on its way down. We're going to talk about some support ranges and see if there's any potential for bouncing or recovery here soon. Good news is on our Bitcoin, and we took a Bitcoin short, of course, day before yesterday, 27% there on that. And then, of course, 20% on our SUI long. That was basically an SUI long from 368 to 387. So we took some nice profits there. And again, for those who are still in the trade, I'm not sure why you didn't secure a profit, because again, I try to emphasize the importance of securing profits when you can. You can't just let things run to the moon. Try not to get greedy in this market. That's the only reason why people are getting destroyed, is because they leave coins that are in the green, nice, good to go, and then they come back and they wake up to like a completely red or destroyed trade, just based on how market manipulation works. If you're not familiar, this cup and handle pattern played out perfectly. We hit our take profit target, and you look at this here. Look at this aggressive candle selling here. This last 12 hours, it was about a 5% correction for Bitcoin, 11.5% for SUI, and that was the crypto event. If you're not familiar, I posted kind of the results of that, what happened there. Basically, there's a crypto task force. There's a lot of insight here. I'm sure speculation that maybe advantageous or disadvantageous. Honestly, that there was nothing bearish about watching that video. It was pretty crazy to me. It just seemed fairly neutral, but yet the market dumped. So again, just keep in mind that played a big part here, and that's factoring in here. This is the residual, the after effect, because Bitcoin is having difficulty in the 97 to 99K range. Okay, cool. So now that you guys know that, guys and gals, we're going to take a look at the back-end data here and go from there. And if you could please, before we get started, please hit the like button, maybe even comment below. Love to hear your thoughts, and more importantly, make sure you always continue to support the channel. Just hit the like button every single time. It's amazing how sometimes my likes go way down for some reason, just because I think people get comfortable. So appreciate it. Just, I'll keep doing my thing. You keep doing your thing. How about that? All right, so SUI on the left-hand side, we can see the last 7 days. We got some heavy concentrations between 320 and 330. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more wick down there just to destroy those late longs. We've got some other longs too at 290, 270. I'm not super concerned with that for the moment, because we have a decent amount of support at the 320 range. We'll discuss that on the charts. I'll show you what I mean by that. But for the moment, that's kind of where we're at here. 320 to 330 is a potential area of retracement. So I know some folks might actually have a stop loss in that range. So just make sure that you either adjust accordingly or pay attention. We do have more people taking longs than shorts with this coin right now, which seems kind of weird, right? Why is the price pulling back if that is the case? Was that natural capitulation, folks? There's a lot of profit to be taken, and the market makers know that, so they're just dumping until people flip short. Once this flips short, they're going to go right back up to the upside. Okay, it's market makers 101. Unfortunately, it's a very manipulative scenario. In fact, speaking of manipulation, if you're not familiar, if you look at Solana, for example, we are seeing a power of 3, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing a similar pattern on SUI. And what that is, too, if you're not familiar, the power of 3 just kind of, we have this accumulation phase, which we were in previously. We broke out to the upside. Now we're in a manipulation phase where the price action is kind of channeling below the local support, and it's going to skyrocket back up to essentially distribution, or more so expansion, and shoot it back up there. So wouldn't be surprised, this coin does this all the time. It's going to come right back up and recover. Anyways, that's just an example of some kind of patterns that we do see sometimes. I'm not saying that's exactly the case here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're in the manipulation phase, because literally that's just a common word nowadays to describe the market, right? If you don't see it, you don't understand it. It's just a very real thing. Okay. Either way, after basically I've been trading for over 20 years, right? Crypto markets, quite a while as well. And in that time frame, I can tell you that the last month has been the most tumultuous, the most absolutely ridiculous trading scenarios possible. So just please understand if you're having difficulty finding opportunities. I am too. I mean, you look at our success rate from last month. We had to close a lot of trades early. We had to, we had to take some stop losses. 76%. That's not a great month for me. But the truth is, we're securing profits when we can, and you got to make sure that you do that yourself, right? We wouldn't have that kind of profit if we just held everything to the stinking moon, right? Anyways, if we take a look here at liquidation, sorry, this is more so the open interest. We can recognize here that about 315 to 320 is that support range. what do you know? It's right there where that liquidation event could occur. Okay, so just be mindful. I think we may see something along those lines if Bitcoin continues to get closer to 97, 96K. Cool, so that's that. So now the front end, what are we looking at here on the daily? Well, it hasn't changed much, folks. It's only gotten worse. So truth is still very bearish, not really worth taking along at this point, even though I know hindsight's 2020, we took a long yesterday, secured some profits, and you know, it is what it is, right? But for the most part, that was a short-term play, okay? I wasn't planning to hold that to $5. So you need to recognize that. You got to get in and get out quickly. And at this point here, from a daily standpoint, again, doesn't mean you can't take a trade. Daily timeframes can look terrible and you can still find tons of profit. But there's nothing here really saying that we're going to see this magical breakout or some kind of recovery. Okay, it's not there. What we were seeing yesterday is on the 4-hour time frame, we were seeing higher highs, higher lows, retesting that consistent high there. And that's why taking a trade in this range here for us worked out to get some profit right here. Because again, that liquidation level, majority of that local liquidation has been swept. Okay, so we can actually remove that. And just bear in mind too, a resistance range, if we do get up above this current range, we start getting closer to $4. 407 to like the 450, heavy resistance. There's a lot of confluence there, reiterating and reinforcing resistance range, and just the fact that we're going to need a lot more volume to get through that. So just know we get back in that range, that is a very real thing. For right now, it's not really smart to consider a long position. Okay, I don't think it's recommended at all. Just based on the overall sentiment, we can see a shift in the MACD, stochastics swinging down. We effectively lost 50 on the RSI, even though we were kind of fighting for it. And even though money flow index is tapering off and still high, you can see a lot more buying pressure than selling pressure in the last 14 candles. Honestly, the last 2 or 3 candles have been pretty terrible. So again, just kind of following concurrent with Bitcoin. So again, hindsight's 2020, of course, but at this point, if you're considering a long, best case scenario, I would say somewhere in the $3 to $3.20 range. That would maybe be a consideration. I think it's too early to consider a long right now, just based on how poorly SUI is behaving contrary to Bitcoin. And if we take a look here, this also reinforces that both a long or a short is not a good idea. Okay, and again, if you see here lagging span, even though it's below the price action, generally a bearish sign, we haven't officially broken below the cloud. What that means is we haven't broken our short-term ascending trend, right? Even though, yes, we're establishing lower highs and lower lows in the last 12 hours, 24 hours, the overall trend in the last 2 trading days has been fairly bullish, right? So you got to recognize that too. Try not to short or long into that, okay? Wait for a definitive direction to be established first, and then you take a trade. And to those who, I think there was a couple of people commenting yesterday saying to please discontinue, talking about, just reinforcing not shorting this coin. I probably won't stop doing that because people need to know that this coin it's a very difficult coin to trade to the downside because it's so volatile to the upside, right? So this coin can recover instantly at any given time. It's just so strong that I don't necessarily recommend ever shorting. So that's my 2 cents on that. Just heads up. I just think it's best practice to avoid that because it's just a low risk, it's a high risk and a low probability kind of trade, right? You're better off waiting to buy a dip, for example. And in that case here, based on support and liquidation levels, 320 is that next range. Again, I'll post this playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, but 320 to 330, once that area is swept, it might be a viable option for a long between now and then. I don't necessarily recommend either, okay? Cool, that's what we got there. We'll go ahead and take a look at this again tomorrow. Hope this made sense for you. Thanks so much again for watching. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.